Black Mountain Plans, and today we're going to do 3 word studies. Miss Judy contacted me yesterday. I'm sorry that my video is late. In my plan with me, I will explain what is going on in my personal life, but today we're going to do 3 word studies, and I'm going to show you how exactly I do them and how I transcribe the information that I find into either the physical workbook that I sell for each faith study or into the digital planner. Okay, so today we're going to start with Ephesians 3:17. This verse right here had 2 word studies, dwell and passes knowledge, and then the next day that I had did on camera for an entry was Deuteronomy 7:6, and the word for that day is chosen. So let me go ahead and show you what I do. I'm going to X out of that. Excuse me, I've already got it pulled up. What I do first is I go to the blueletterbible.org, okay? That's exactly where I go. And what I'm going to do very quickly, just like I did in the last video, is I pull up pages. Because I just want to be able to copy and paste the information that I want into here so that I can have it ready to rock and roll, for my transcribing. So we're going to type in dwell. This is the easiest way to do it. Okay, type in dwell up here and you're going to say search. Alright, so I see that dwell is popping up in a whole lot of verses. Okay, so I'm going to click advanced options, and down here where it says or custom selection, that's when I type in Ephesians 3, and I know that that word pops up in verse 17. So I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And here we are in the King James Version. You can change your translation. So I'm going to hit this blue bar right here. This is tools. Now you could go to the interlinear. You could go to all of these down here. But I just click tools. Okay. Now, here is my word, may and dwell. Okay. If I click there, I can see all of these references down here. You could, again, go advanced options, go the same thing, type in Ephesians. It's just going to basically take you back to where we were. We're going to hit enter. Here we are. So let's go back to tools. This is the way you do it. So even though the word we're looking at is dwell, in this verse, it's used in the context of may dwell. Okay? So here is our Strong's number. Now, I can't copy and paste it. It wants me to copy a link. See? Can't really copy it. So what I have done already in the background is I have put that this is my Strong's number. I typed it in. Okay. So if you click the Strong's number, we're going to go to a very detailed list that is going to help us fill out this form right here. So next we're going to be looking for, this is where I would write dwell, and probably in parentheses, since the way that is popping up in the Blue Letter Bible app is may dwell, I would put in parentheses may dwell, but this I would have dwell parentheses may dwell. Okay, I'd put in the G 2730, and right here I'm going to find out, is it Greek, Hebrew, or Aramaic. Well, with the Strong's number starting with a G, I already know that that's Greek. So again, I put Greek. The next thing on our worksheet here is number of times it occurs in Scripture. If I click over here, it says it's 47 times in 43 verses. All right. But it also says it right here. King James translation count total is 47 times. And this is the way it's used. 42 times it's used as dwell, dweller, inhibitor, inhabitant. Okay. So I'm going to put that information up here. So I know I need to write down that it appears 47 times. Okay. So the next thing I'm looking for, okay, first of all, I'm sorry. I copy and pasted this word right here. Okay, and if you don't know how to pronounce it, you can push this.
Strong's G 2730. Katoikeo. Katoikeo.
And I wasn't going to butcher that, so I let them pronounce it. I copied this word, I pasted it over here, and then I wrote that's my transliteration. Okay. So now I'm looking for my definition. Basically what I do is I go to the outline of the biblical usage and I copy and paste this information into, my note-taking app, because this is in the lighter color blue. That's what I would put as the definition. That's me personally. You can actually click the dictionary, and you could write down all of that. That is what I like to put into my notes. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to copy it. Copy. Go over here. And I'll show you where I got this information in just a second. Alright, I'm going to click paste. And it's going to come in crazy weird. Okay? But that's what I would probably put into my notes. That's just me. I like more definition and more cross-references. So the next thing we're looking on, this is where you would write in Ephesians 3:17. This is where you would put in either one of your definitions. I like to do the smaller definition in this box because it'll fit. I like to put the very detailed definition from the Blue Letter Bible app when I click, where was I? When I click the dictionary. I like to put that into my notes section right here. So basically, we're just going to be looking for some Old Testament references where the word that we're studying, dwell, shows up, and I just write the verse address. And then in the New Testament, I'll probably only choose 3 because this deco is a little large. Some people just draw a line and they just write it in. Like, we know it's going to pop up in Acts. You would have plenty of room to write it there. So basically, all you're going to do now, since you're just needing Old Testament and New Testament verse references, you're going to go through your list and you would copy and paste, Matthew 23, whichever one of these verses in the New Testament you like, where the word dwell shows up in the verse, you can copy and paste that, into this information, this area right here. So basically, all I'm going to do is, I'm going to take that, copy. It won't let me. Alright, so, will it really not let me? Nope, it won't. So, I'll be transcribing that in very quickly. Alright, this right here, where it says from the Strong's number and Strong's number to house permanently, this information I found up here. It's just under the Strong's definition. I try to put the smaller one and this smaller one into, let's see, this part. If I don't have enough room, I just put the very first one. If I have enough room, I'll put both. This I put into my notes. I hope that's making sense. And then all you do is just look for, New Testament and Old Testament cross-references of the verses. This stands for James. It's got, let's see, where is the one? I know Hebrews 11:9 is a cross-reference. Let's see, where is it at? It's going to be in this list over here that I'm scrolling up. Oh, click Old Testament references, sorry. You can, take any of these verses that you like and put it into your area right here. And then scroll back up, and you're going to want New Testament references. And write down any of the verses that you like a lot to be a cross-reference address to put on the New Testament side. So I hope that helps. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward while I get the information that I need. And basically, I'm just going to show you where I put it into the pages in my digital journal because that's what I'm using. And yes, the digital journal word study is exactly the same as the printed journal. There is absolutely no difference. Okay? So let me go ahead and fast forward you while I go through the 3 words for the word study today, and then I'll come back as I'm putting it in. Alrighty. Okay, guys, so as I'm doing the word for chosen, as you can see, there are no references of the word chosen for the New Testament. And the reason why is because in the context that the word chosen is being used in Deuteronomy 7:6 does not apply to the way the word chosen is being used to in the New Testament, according to the Strong's lexicon here. I really went into the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon, going all the way down to see if I see any scriptures, that I can refer to in the New Testament where it's being used in the same manner. Okay? And there is no New Testament verses. So this one right here, what I would probably do when it comes to my word study, let me get out of there. Yeah. Down here, I would put in several Old Testament references. I would write a short note here that I am not seeing while I'm doing this study. Now, y'all may do it differently and be able to find some New Testament verses, but the way I do the word study, I am not finding any New Testament verse addresses to, go and do some further reading. So I would just put a note in here that in this manner that it's being defined, it's not having any cross references, for the New Testament. And what I would do down here in the notes, because this is like crazy long, some days I would actually go in here and anything that's in like just regular black, not the Jewish writing, I think it's what it is. I don't know what it's called, so I'm sorry if it's wrong to say it that way. Or the verses, I would actually just put in the stuff that says like, collective, as cedars, the I would put in all that stuff. But I'm not. That's a lot. What I'm actually going to do in my word study here is I'm actually going to take some of these verse addresses that I'm putting for the Old Testament references, and I'm just going to write out the verses. Okay, so that's how I would do it. So I'm going to actually put this all into my 3 word study sheets. I've already told you the information, that we need to grab. Now, some people are like, well, there's no transliteration up here. That's usually where I write this. I write out, that it's Greek, and underneath of it, I write out the way it shows in Greek writing right here. And I do write the word transliteration. When I'm doing the physical journal, I use my custom scripts that say transliteration. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it all into my digital journal, and then we'll come back and look at it. All right, hang on. So I'm going to show you how I took my actual journal entry, and I used all the information that I had copy and pasted and how I put it into my digital journal. So yes, there is this worksheet right here with these 2 pieces of deco on your page, and then you have the one with the B here and the B here. And in the digital journal, you have a blank one with no clip bar on it. If you are doing all the word studies, all you will do is in your GoodNotes app or your note annotation app for the digital journal, just duplicate the word study pages that you want to write on and arrange them in order when you click the index to any page number that you want. So I'm going to get out of here and actually show you where I transcribed the information. So for the first verse, right here, we're going to be looking at, let's hide that sidebar for a second. So this was my transliteration. Whoops, I'm not on the right one, am I? No, this is the one. This is where I wrote that information in, the word I can't pronounce as transliteration. I wrote in my Strong's number, the G2730. I put dwell and then may dwell. I wrote out the verse. I took parts of this over here that I wanted and put it in my biblical definition. It's from the Greek translation, and it's used 47 times. Now, when we come down here, where I had put the Old Testament references, I just wrote them in here. I wrote in my New Testament references here. And this long area right here that I told you guys I take notes from, I just wrote in what I wanted to down here. And there was even in the dictionary definition where it refers specifically to the verse. And so I took this part, may make a home in your hearts, because it's in the verse we're doing the word study for. I put that as the last part down here, and I highlighted it. As you can see, when I do the word study, I use the pencil. I don't let it go to the scribble feature. It's just what I like to do. Okay, so the next word was passes knowledge. So when I looked it up on the Blue Letter Bible app, it kind of like broke passes into one and knowledge into the other. So this is the way I did it. We're going to go back up here. I did write in Ephesians 3:19 because that's the verse where that word study is actually found. So I wrote out the verse there, and in green I did passes, and that's the transliteration and the Strong's number, and that's the definition. In blue is knowledge, that's the transliteration, and I wrote out the Strong's number and that definition. It is a Greek with both words translation. And I went with knowledge instead of passes, and it's used 29 times, and it occurs in the scriptures. These are my Old Testament references, and these are my New Testament references. It doesn't like the way I wrote Luke. It says it's misspelled. Whatever. So, whoops. So down here, when I had this really long bit of information, this part right here, I just took out the part from my notes that I wanted to. Alright, so we're going to go down to the... Where's the last one? Hang on. Let me get my sidebar back. No, I don't want to. Thumbnails. Show it to me. So I am going to want this one for chosen. Alright, so we're going down here, and when I had said in the video that there was no New Testament references, I was like, when I went to do the word study on the worksheet, it was like, well, duh. When it is Hebrews in the Torah and everything, they don't have the New Testament, so there's not going to be any verses for your New Testament references because this is a Hebrew translation, okay? I'm not saying that the word chose and the way it's being used is not in the New Testament as well. I'm just saying that with this Hebrew translation, it is not going to show up in your New Testament because it is a Hebrew translation. Hebrews do not have the New Testament in their Bible, okay? They have a Torah. It's not the same. Okay, so I wrote in chosen, the Strong's number, the transliteration, and it is Hebrew, and it is used 170 times, 172 times. So these are the Old Testament references. I just put no same references for this particular use of the word in Hebrew, okay? Then I wrote in my verse, it was quite long. I chose over here the parts that I wanted to be my definition over here. And then when I came down to the notes, I didn't write any of the notes in. I wrote my own, whoops, I am on the wrong one. I clicked it for some reason. I wrote in my own personal notes and reflection on this verse. So I am hoping that this helped Miss Judy. A lot of people don't like to do it. I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to delete that real quick. It is a lot to do, but once you get super comfortable with it, I find it very helpful. I like to refer to it when I'm doing my word study and verse mapping, and when I'm doing my Bible study. So until I see you guys for another video, I hope this helped. I'm sorry it was kind of long, but it'll get easier when I get in the flow of showing people how I do it. I just like the copy and paste feature on my Mac, and then be able to write it into either my physical journal or put it into my digital. So you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you later. Bye.